This episode of Horror Movie Talk brought to you by Illegalese. Illegalese is a reliable resource that more than 1 million people have already trusted to help with their illicit operations, including setting up shell companies, money laundering, fake identities, or finding simple death threat letter templates. Illegalese is not a law firm, but they do have a network of independent former attorneys available in most states. You may be a criminal, but you're not a convict. Let's keep it that way with Illegalese. Check out illegalese.com.ru today to see how they can make life better for you and your cartel. Enter promo code HMT at checkout for an offer you can't refuse. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk, an opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Your schlubby hosts each week are Bryce Hanson, the cool collected nihilist, and David Day, a cool guy who's always cool. New theatrical releases always get priority, but we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. I'm Bryce Hanson.
Give me that mic!
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
I'm David Day.
Today we'll be talking about Greta, the new thriller starring Isabelle Huppert and Chloë Grace Moretz.
Yeah, Grace Moretz.
We'll start out giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a miserable dredge, 5 being completely average, and 10 being so good that it's not just a great horror movie, but a great movie in general. Then, later on, we will discuss spoilers and our opinions of the movie and take a deep dive. After that, we will do a couple little bits. We're going to do taglines again. It's been a long time
since we've
done taglines.
Reviving up from the dead. Taglines return.
And we'll cover a couple bits of horror movie news. But first,
I'm so excited. Oh, my God. But first what?
But first, a couple bits of housekeeping. I'm saying bits too much. We got a website called horrormovietalk.com. It's very easy to remember. Check it out. We got all our links to social media and all our past episodes. We post new episodes of Horror Movie Talk every Wednesday, so please come back. And if you want to make it easy on yourself, subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Leave a review if you can, if you like the show. If you don't, leave a review anyways and say you like it.
Yeah.
Just, lie. You can support the podcast by going on Amazon.com through our button on HorrorMovieTalk.com, and pretty much anything you buy or rent will get a little tiny pittance from Amazon for that. So sometimes we review shows that are streaming on Amazon. Just click through our website and rent it from there. Also, a friend of the show, Shudder, which is a streaming platform for horror movies. It's like the Netflix of horror movies. If you like horror movies, you probably know what Shudder is already. If you're not subscribed, we got an offer for you. An offer you can't refuse. We got a promo code HMT that if you put it in at checkout, it'll give you a free 30-day trial as opposed to the regular 7-day trial. So check that out.
Yeah, suck on that, idiots.
So that's all the housekeeping. Thanks again for listening. And
I do have one more piece of housekeeping to add to this, which is I've been sitting on a blog from Keith, which is his best one yet by a long shot. Which is really saying something because he cranks out.
Yeah, most of them are pieces of shit.
No, Keith really cranks out some great stuff, some thoughtful ones. And this time he wrote Pet Sematary. When do remakes go too far? An in-depth look at the original Pet Sematary, the new one, what the new one looks like it will be, and kind of a look at basically horror movie remakes. So,
awesome.
Look out for that this week.
Right. Okay. So we got a great show today.
Great show. Super excited.
You don't sound excited.
Are you kidding me?
Great show. I'm super excited.
I am super excited. I'm fucking amped.
So let's get into the review. We went and saw Greta, which is an anagram for great, which this film is not.
Womp, womp, womp.
found that I think belongs to Greta Hadag.
Oh, bless your heart. Where did you find it?
On the subway.
Oh, would you like a cup of coffee? You've been so kind. I don't get many visitors here. I've been so lonely since my daughter left.
Well, I could help you. My mom actually used to say I'm like chewing gum. I tend to stick around. Where are the candles?
In the cabinet. Did you find them?
I guess she's been planting bags around the city. I was hoping someone brings them back to her. And you did. Oh my God, it's her. Just let it ring. I saw the bags, Greta. And I never want to see you again. She's really freaking me out. This is not a problem.
Public area, her rights are protected.
Why are you doing this?
How exciting.
Hi, I'm Frances, and I'll be your waitress for the evening. No, I can't do this. Are you a child?
No, you're the child. You need a mother to hold you.
Don't you dare talk to me about my mother.
She had to die for us to me.
Are you out of your mind?
Look at her. She's full of greeting. She's gone, Frances. Everyone needs a friend. But we're more than friends. We're connected.
There's something you need to know about Greta.
What? Are you insane? What did you do?
Just try to get rid of Greta.
Ah, the French.
Greta can be found in theaters right now. It's a new release. Greta is one of those films that gives you pretty much everything in the trailer. You can figure out everything that happens in the movie by rearranging the sequence of the shots in the trailer to the most logical sequence of events.
Yeah, that's
like there's no real surprises after you've seen the trailer.
Yeah, that's really accurate.
It's hard to say because like we go to all the horror movies, so we see any thriller or horror movie trailer at least like 7 times before we watch the movie, and so it kind of takes some of the oomph away.
Yeah, but does it? I mean, man, if you'd have showed me a trailer for Terrified or for Hereditary 9 times, it still would have been a great movie.
That's true. And they show a lot in the Hereditary trailer.
Yeah.
But we didn't see it like 7 times though, so I don't know.
That's true. It's hard to draw a parallel.
Yeah. Greta is a movie about Frances McCullen, played by Chloë Grace Moretz, who is a young woman that comes across a lost purse on a subway, and being a good Samaritan, she returns it to its owner, Greta Hildeg, played by Isabelle Huppert. Oh, I should have gotten the Puppet Master drop.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
It's... Oh, I forgot.
Verdot.
No, whatever. The two strike a quick surrogate mother-daughter friendship and start spending time with one another. Frances soon discovers that the purse was really a ploy that Greta has used many times before to lure in young women into her orbit. She gets progressively creeped out and discovers Greta's evil secrets too late to save herself.
Evil secrets.
Greta is an okay film with good acting and a great cast, but heavily contrived danger.
Yeah, that last little piece that you said, heavily contrived danger, is the biggest takeaway from this movie. I don't know why it's so hard to come up with a premise that's actually really scary, because there are so many
right
that really exist.
Yeah. And there's a couple tweaks that they could have done. I mean, they did. We'll get to that in a minute. But one
more thing is we might not be. In fact, I know we are not the target audience here.
No, definitely not.
And who is the target audience?
Your wife?
Not my wife, but definitely, yeah, that demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, if you can get scared by a middle-aged, slight 5'3" woman, this movie will terrify you.
Yeah. Who's the blonde in The Office?
Angela. Angela.
Yeah.
Oh, what's her actual name though? Is it Angela Kinsey?
It might be. Yeah. If a woman of Angela's frame and extended years frightens you, Greta will be terrifying.
Yeah. If you, like me, realize that pretty much anyone short of a child could immediately overpower her, it loses some of its edge. The real power of this movie is when it focuses on the creep factor of having a stalker that progressively gets more threatening as she is pushed away.
Yeah.
This isn't a horror movie. I mean, it's definitely more in thriller territory, but towards the end, there's some okay gore and some genuine darkness in the third act.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there were definitely parts where I was worried. You know, there are parts of this movie where I was like nervous about what was going to happen. It manipulated me into, feeling emotions, which is the main reason I like horror movies.
Right. It was entertaining enough, but never really grabbed me. I give it a score of 4 out of 10.
Yeah. I think that's the score I kind of expected out of you. Someone like you. For me, I think it's more just a general 5 territory. This movie I don't know what for you strikes it down a notch from totally average to a little bit less than average.
I don't know. It was like just not a lot happening in the movie. There's just really not. There was just a really logical progression.
Yeah,
and maybe it's informed by seeing the trailer too many times, but there wasn't any surprises, and a lot of the danger aspects fell flat. I'm like, what? Why? There's a couple I've got later in the beats that we're going to talk about, the bitch get out the house moments.
Yeah.
There's several of those.
Yeah,
just
there
like,
are.
why are you going into the house?
Right.
Why are you going up? Why are you cornering yourself?
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Yeah. So there it might be a little nitpicky, but I can say that we reviewed The Prodigy, and I thought that was supremely mediocre and gave that a 5 just because it was exactly what I expected a movie to have in it.
Yeah, it was mechanical.
Mechanical.
Whereas this movie had some life to it. It was a little bit of...
Yeah, I guess there was more flair in it and a lot more... It was more stylistic.
But that doesn't get rid of your frustrations with it.
Right.
Which are very, they're solid.
Yeah.
It's like, don't run into the basement intentionally on your own.
Right. If you're trying to escape, the basement is not the best option.
Don't run past... Okay. There's a front door with a large window in it. Try the front door. Is it locked? Don't bother to break that glass and open it, and then just jump out or something like that. Just run downstairs into the basement.
Right.
Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Okay, so you'd give this a 5?
I give it a 5. The more I evaluate movies on our scale, the more I tend to go 5 doesn't care either way.
Right.
It does not have a strong emotional attachment to it, does not have a strong emotional reaction in anger. A 4 is slightly angry.
Right.
A 6 is slightly happy. And this didn't make me either. I just sat there and was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's fair.
The French.
Who is that?
It's Orson Welles.
That's Orson Welles, supremely drunk.
There is a California champagne. Maybe so.
The best part of that clip is the guy sitting there holding the champagne.
Oh my God, it's my favorite part, watching the guy next to him like pour the champagne, knowing like why are you not calling cut? We're just gonna have to have props come in and clean out this cup if I pour it in.
Fresh.
The French.
French. All right, let's get into Spoiler Town. Spoilers. Oops, I had a different filter on there. Shaking it up. All right, so a couple things to talk about this.
Not very much.
I mean, I realized as I was writing down these things to talk about, I'm like, a lot of this is really negative, but it's not a terrible movie.
No.
Like, I could see an audience that would really like this movie, but it's just not me.
Yeah, the acting was decent.
Yeah.
And the sets were great.
Yeah. So everything is in the trailer. So while you're watching it, the only thing you're really waiting for is what is Greta's end game, or what's like the big secret, or what's the purpose that she's doing it for. And the answer feels pretty lame. Maybe that's why I gave it a 4, because it just felt like, oh, it's just not interesting.
It was very contrived.
Yeah, she puts girls in a box / a prison bedroom, and then kills them when the next girl comes along. The end. There's no real explanation or
motivation.
Or motivation for Greta for why she's so crazy. She just is.
Yeah. Okay. You got to go to the. This is going to become a thing for me. Buffalo Bill is the most interesting bad guy in any movie ever, maybe. Why? Because his motivations are quote unquote perverse, and you get to learn about them as the movie progresses, and not directly. You get to witness his perversions as they come to him. And so what ends up happening is you learn about this guy who is, it's technically now it is transphobic because he's a cross-dresser, or at least likes to envision himself as a woman and wear women's skin.
We'll say on the record that not all trans people are serial killers.
Right, for sure.
I mean, just most of them, but not all of them. We shouldn't judge them.
Your words.
Just by the majority.
But as the movie progresses, I mean, you learn more and more horrific things about this guy. He's got a pit under his house where he keeps women. He's got a bucket and a little cute little dog. He dresses up and dances around to Goodbye Horses. Like, this is all fucking weird stuff. This is all alarming, and he grows moths to keep as a calling. It's just a bunch of weird shit. And Greta didn't have any of that. She's just a bad guy. Just bad.
Yeah, the big reveal about, the thing that you don't know about her, she's not actually French. So she's actually Hungarian.
Yeah. Ooh.
And she's just pretending to be sophisticated and French.
Those creepy hungos.
Now, that does seem like pretty lame, but when she talks Hungarian for like a brief 2 seconds, that was terrifying. Hungarian is terrifying.
Hungarian is I have the pleasure of working with a Hungarian woman from Hungary, and it is fascinating to hear the Hungarian language, because it is one of those languages that is not like anything you've ever heard. Mm-hmm. It has little dribs and drabs of something familiar, but and that something familiar is kind of German-ish. Mm-hmm. But everything else is just fucking clicks and whistles to me, man. It is a strange and interesting language.
Yeah, so in the movie, Frances, a lot of the trailer is her as Greta confronting Frances in the restaurant. And by this point, Frances knows that she's not really French and says, like what? Why are you putting this on? Like, you're actually Hungarian. And then there's this brief moment where Greta breaks into some Hungarian, and I grabbed a clip. Tell me if this doesn't terrify you.
Miutan mindet metetem erdet.
Yeah, that's fucking creepy.
That just sounds like someone casting a spell on you.
Erdet. Yeah, it is. It's and you know what? I can't remember, but I think we watched another movie where the bad guy was Hungarian recently. Was it the Prodigy? Was he Hungarian?
Prodigy, yeah, I think he might have been Hungarian. That's right.
The Hungarians could be like possibly like an untapped well of great bad guys because number one, you're not going to offend them. They are a hardy people who have dealt with a fucking lot, and you're not going to offend them by making them the bad guy. Also, they have a creepy language, or potentially creepy. I mean, you heard that clip. Heard that.
Yeah.
So Hungarians.
Miutan mindet metetem erdet.
Another problem I kind of had was I wasn't really sure what they were going with Francis's character. I think it could have worked out a little better, the danger aspect, if they made Francis seem more helpless.
Right. Or more codependent. Like, instead of immediately sensing the danger once all the signs were there, if she was kind of like a little fawn who was like always giving the best.
Right.
Giving Greta the best intentions or the shadow of the doubt.
Yeah. And it might be just the casting because, I mean, Chloë Grace Moretz, I still think about her in Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Like, literally think like, oh, yeah, she can kick ass.
She's badass.
Yeah. She never really sells it in this movie. Instead of portraying a pushover, she's more portraying her as confused or scared.
Yeah. It's the helpless girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her friend is kind of the more... Well, I mean, that's not fair. Her friend and her are very similar. Her friend, by the way, is played by the same like one of my very favorite new horror scream queens from It Follows, the girl from It Follows, and then also she was in something else.
Micah Monroe.
Yeah, Micah Monroe. I love her, and I mean, It Follows top three as far as recent horror movie. Great recent horror movies for me. But anyway, Chloë Grace Moretz and Mika they're very close friends, and they're very similar in that they're kind of the scared girl.
Well, no, I don't know. I think in the way they set up that friendship, Francis is definitely more of the country bumpkin coming into the city.
Yeah.
And there's several times where a friend's like, you just befriend this old lady that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And
that's
she's
foolish.
Like, she's not your surrogate mother. And she like says things like, the city's going to eat you alive, kind of thing. So she's a little more savvy to urban living, probably.
Yeah.
But then her actions later in the film, well, no, that's not true. I mean,
yeah,
but the point being, Francis's character could have been made more helpless, because when you've got the villain, a 5'3" middle-aged woman that probably doesn't weigh more than 100 pounds, like she's probably like 85 pounds or something.
Yeah.
Wet.
Yeah.
And you gotta really portray your protagonist as super helpless or like a pleaser, you know?
Yeah.
That really is put in the situation of like, I'm not used to someone overstepping the bounds like this. She's pretty much immediately like, oh, hell no. She's like pretty much immediately...
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 hell no.
Yeah. But that's kind of the problem with this movie, is everything happens as you would expect it to happen in real life, which is, let's notify the police. Oh, there she is. She's standing outside. She's stalking me. I'm going to call the police. And then the police get there, and the police are like, nothing I can do, ma'am. And then it's just another day. You know, it's nothing spooky happens. It's other than the fact that she's standing there looking at her. You know, Greta is stalking her actively.
Right. That's very believable. The cop saying like, she's not breaking the law, there's nothing we can do, which is that is such a great trope in horror movies of the unhelpful cop, because it's not even just a horror movie trope, it's just a real life trope.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got your car stolen, huh? Yeah, we never find these like ever again.
Ever. You may see the seat of it like in an Astro van in a couple years.
That being said, I'm sure that they have other things to deal with, like actual murder and stuff.
Yeah.
But I want my car.
Yeah, give me my laptop back, guy.
The one frustrating thing that pulled me out of it was the unrealistic reactions of her coworkers and boss.
Yeah.
I wrote down, gay bosses are the worst in movies. Like, she has the maitre d' or whatever, and I don't even know what maitre d' is. I'm assuming is the head of house or the head waiter guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, this lady is crazy and she's stalking me. And he's like, oh, I don't know. She's got a reservation. It's like, that's...
Good point.
Seriously? All right.
But still.
And then eventually, this big blowout happens in the restaurant. I'm like,
and then he's like incredulous as to why. Look, what the fuck? Hey, Chloë Grace Moretz, what the fuck? Hey, why'd you let this happen? And it's like, this is on you, bro.
Yeah, and even like her coworker, there's like some girl at the bar. She goes up to, she's like,
call the police. The girl's like, what? Oh, are you thinking of a different spot?
No, that's the one. I can't remember what happens, but I remember like there is no one in that. They must hate her at her job because there is no sympathetic ear there.
Now, I've never worked in the hospitality industry.
If you worked in hospitality and someone came in asking for you and you said, I don't want to talk to him, turn him away, and then...
It's my understanding that they are thick as thieves and will, even if they hate you, will be like, I got your back, bro.
Yeah. No, in this one, they're like, oh, that's your problem.
Hey, bitch, get rid of that old lady standing across the street.
Or something as simple as, I don't want to serve them. And be like, sorry, they made a reservation and asked for you.
It's your table.
Yeah.
What's up? What else?
Greta's over there, like, sharpening her knife.
Throwing glasses at people.
They do a good job of setting up the relationship between Francis and Greta. I thought that was pretty good in terms of like the screenwriting of setting up Francis. She just lost her mother and she's still in mourning, and it makes sense that she would have welcomed kind of a surrogate mother or, turned a friendly eye to a middle-aged woman in need that, could share life experiences with her or just learn things from.
Yeah, that was actually the most enjoyable part of this movie was their blossoming relationship. Like, because it felt honest and earnest, and it felt like something that you've experienced before. When you find a new friend and then you get to be better friends and you cook together and, whatever. You enjoy activities and each other's company.
Yeah. Is there anything more interesting than a older, middle-aged to elderly person that's alone, that's single, and super sophisticated? Like, that's just like a really interesting person to be around. I found. I've come across a couple people where they just have real great taste and they've had just a ton of life experience that's really cool, and they still got just the remnants of like, I'm a really cool person, even though they're just living alone and probably, just kind of lonely and not doing much. They don't have much of a career. That is
super interesting. In fact, I have a story about that. As a kid, my parents' neighbors were from Germany. And he fixed Porsches, and he was towards the end of his life, and she was kind of taking care of him. Her name was Inga, and they had horses and a dog, and I would go over to their property and play with the dog and pet the horses and stuff like that. And long story short, when the old man died, he left the property and all his possessions to PBS.
Wow.
to OPB, I should say, to the Oregon Public Broadcasting channel, and she was fucking livid. She's like, I wiped that man's ass. But she was super interesting and all the things you just described.
Yeah.
And he was too. and to add to that, interesting bit on going out. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense that, you know, an old lady that's super sophisticated could bring someone in like a spider into their web.
Oh, 100%.
It's a great setup for a villain, but there needs to be a little bit more of... I don't know. Maybe I'm not being fair. Because it's not necessarily that she overpowered Francis or anyone. She did drug them.
Yeah, and she mind-fucked him an awful lot.
Yeah, but, you know, it'd be pretty easy to confront a little old lady.
Yeah. I'm starting to get mad at this movie now just because it's so uninteresting to talk about.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's not super interesting. Well, let's get into the interesting stuff. I'm sure I've got something in here. Okay, let's talk about the bitch get out the house moments.
Oh, man. There were some heavy-duty bitch get out the house moments.
Francis is, like, captured.
Yeah.
Put in a box in this prison room, and then somehow she breaks out. She, like, overpowers Greta. Oh, yeah, cuts off her pinky.
Right.
And, you know, hits her in the noggin, and Greta's passed out. And she goes up to the door and tries to open it, and it's locked, and it's like the kind that you need a key from the inside. She's trying to find the key. She can't get it. You know, passes all this, you know, bank of windows to go into the basement.
She runs to the basement.
And then she kind of like pats at one of the the windows in the basement. That's about like 3 inches by, you know, whatever. Like you wouldn't be able to get out of that window even if you did break it.
Yeah, her big move is running past a huge bank of windows into the basement and then running up to this little letterbox window in the basement and literally tapping on it with the tips of her fingers going tap, 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 tap. Like, now you're going to get somebody's attention? You should have jumped out with one of those big windows up top.
Right.
Get out the house, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be like a frying pan or something heavy that you could toss out the window or just try to break a door.
Yeah, anything.
I don't know.
Don't run into the basement.
Yeah, don't run into the basement. The other one is her friend gets stalked by Greta, and Greta is taking pictures and sending it to Francis, showing like, hey, I'm right behind your friend. Like, you don't know what I'm going to do. And Francis is calling her friend and saying, like, get out. You got to get out. She's following you. She's right behind you. Because there's pictures of her, like, literally
I can describe your exact location right now.
Yeah. And so if you're in that situation, if you're a woman inside of a club, what would you do? Well, of course, you would go out the back door with no one else into a dark alleyway.
And then proceed down every other dark alleyway.
Yeah. It's like, do they... How did these women survive in the city?
I'm told it's very scary to be a woman in the city.
I mean, if you're a woman in the suburbs, you'd be like crazy to leave a strip mall unaccompanied to your car.
Really?
You know?
God, I'm so unfamiliar with it.
I don't know. I feel like to be a woman, speaking as a man, from my understanding, is there's just a constant threat of rape, of just like you're always scared of someone's going to come and overpower me, so you don't want to be in the dark, you don't want to be alone, you know?
Well, speaking as a man who identifies as a woman, who's also very homely as a woman, I don't worry about rape very much at all.
Right. But anyways, those two things were like, oh my gosh, why? It just doesn't make any sense. It's just a horror trope thing, but it's like, the other unbelievable parts is that anybody couldn't take this tiny lady. Like, just immediately, if you were not bound or drugged, you could immediately tackle this woman and just strangle her to death with minimal effort.
There were so many moments in this movie where I had the strong urge to do exactly that. I was like throwing myself into the scenario constantly and just going, oh, push her nose up into her head cavity right now. Be like, right, just kill her right now. Like, you could just take her and shake her kind of hard and she'll die.
Shaken Greta syndrome. The other one that this is just like a nitpicky thing, but when Frances's friend comes to rescue her, they are in this like little prison room, and then they start hearing the piano music, and they're like, where is it? Because the piano is what blocks the door,
right?
Kind of thing.
It's what blocks the door to the secret girl prison that Greta has made in her house.
Yeah. And they're like assuming that Greta's playing the piano just right outside the door, and they're like sneaking around, but she's not. And then they actually find out it's a record player. And I was like, how could you not know that it's not the piano?
Yeah, that sound.
How could you not know the source of the sound?
It's a Pavlov's dog response. It's a Pavlovian response,
I guess. But what I was expecting, what would have been better, is like it just revealed to be a player piano, and that Greta could never play the piano in the first place.
Ooh, that would be better. Yeah,
that would have been way more interesting, because it would have been Greta even more of a fraud.
Yeah,
but no, it's just a record player. I'm like, well, how did you not know that it wasn't her playing the piano and that it wasn't this record player across the room?
Yeah, basically in another room.
Yeah. I don't know. There's other little things we can talk about. Landlines and Nokia phones in this movie.
Yeah.
Like what year?
Why do movies in general are seemingly many years behind the times always? Why are landlines still in movies all the fucking time now? Why is that? Why does that happen?
I don't know.
Is it just to, like...
I used to... I mean, as recent as, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, I had a landline.
I'm not saying it's unbelievable, but why are people calling it? You don't use it. Yeah, you have a landline. Wow, these things are fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a landline, but you don't use it. No one uses it. And another thing, dogs in horror movies. Can we just... we had a discussion on the First Run podcast about this. I'd like to expand on that. Can we get a moratorium going on dogs in horror movies? Dogs that are just gonna be killed. Every time you see it, you go, damn it, you're just gonna be a sacrifice to this movie.
Granted, in this movie, you don't feel too bad because the dog that they picked was going to get euthanized that day.
That's not how you do this,
and it's freaking ancient. It's like a 21-year-old dog in human years, and it can barely move. I'm like, okay.
What's it like inside that machine of a mind that you have? where you constantly are doing cost-benefit analysis.
I don't want to kill the dog. I'm just saying, if you're going to kill a dog, that would have been a good choice.
I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm still going, what?
This is like the Dexter idea of, like, if you're gonna be a serial killer, you might as well kill other serial killers.
Right. You do the good thing.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah, it's still bad. You shouldn't kill people. But if you do...
Right.
Kill killers.
Right.
That's like also are
you implicating this dog as a killer now?
The advice from Adam Carolla is, if you're going to do a murder-suicide, just start with the suicide part.
Touche.
I mean, it seems like a good tip.
Yeah.
You know?
Start there, and then we'll expand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but dogs in horror movies, I don't like it. It's manipulative in the extreme, in a way that I don't like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just too manipulative to me. It's too easy of a way to get me to be like, oh no, not the dog. Please don't hurt the doggy.
Yeah. I just keep going back to, like, why this just isn't very compelling. Like, if there's an old lady... Okay, first of all, she's not that old. They, like, make a big deal about how old she is in this movie, and she's, like...
Not old.
Just in her 60s. Yeah. She's just, like, a middle-aged woman.
Late 50s, 60s.
But if you are followed by an obsessive woman, like, just confront her or, punch her.
Yeah, get her off.
Problem solved. Like, just don't like be like,
Jason is a compelling bad guy. Why? Because he's unstoppable and 7 feet tall and 300 pounds, and he carries a big old machete. So, and he wears a hockey mask. That's why Jason is compelling. Greta, not compelling. I mean, she is Hungarian, but aside from that, not compelling.
Right. All right. Well, anyways, Greta, you might like it.
You probably don't.
You probably won't.
It is not a good use of your money.
It might be a good thriller to watch on Netflix when it comes out with your wife or girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
like it's a decent compromise if you're looking for kind of some thrills.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the conversation we had on the car ride back, which is this is a definite genre. There's an audience who will like this very much, and the movie that it reminds me of is In the Cut with Meg Ryan, where there are high stakes on nothing, and except like being a woman in the city, in city life, and shit gets real all of a sudden for you, and if that can resonate within you, that's worthwhile. But I'm as who I am, it doesn't resonate with me. I'm not the audience for this.
Right. This is one of those that really toes the line between Lifetime movie or horror movie.
Oh, big time.
Like if you read the description for this for Lifetime movie or horror movie, it would be hard to tell which one. So yeah, final recommendations. Who would like this? I wrote down people that like Meg Ryan thrillers, based off of your conversation with me.
Yeah, no, there is a serious niche for this, and it is a predominantly probably female and people who like Law and Order, like people who really like Law and Order would love this movie, probably. Although there are a lot of Law & Order episodes that are more compelling, have a more compelling storyline than this by a pretty wide margin. So that might not be being fair to Law & Order.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's play Taglines.
Here's Taglines.
Taglines. Taglines is a bit where we come up with new taglines for the movie we were reviewing that we think are either better or more fitting.
Or funny.
Than the current tagline. The current tagline for Greta is really lame.
There's a lot of lame taglines currently for Greta.
Let me find it. Tagline. Where do they keep taglines? It's up at the top, isn't it?
It's if you go to the spot where you get external links and external reviews.
Taglines. Oh, well, this is a new one. One of the taglines is, "Who is Greta?"
I think you read it wrong. It's, "Who is Greta?"
Yeah. Who's Greta?
No, you're not getting my inflection.
Okay.
My
I guess
inflection here is,
okay.
Who is Greta?
Who is Greta? Am I getting it?
Good enough.
Okay. The other taglines that they have is, "Her game has just begun," and "Don't take the bait," and "Everyone needs a friend." "Everyone needs a friend" is probably decent.
People, let me tell you about my best friend.
So anyways, we're going to go back and forth with taglines. Let's start. Greta, don't help old ladies.
Greta, welcome to the Boo Box. Boo. Boo. That's a Hook reference for you.
That's good. I like that. You know who was put in the Boo Box in Hook?
Dustin Hoffman?
No. It was...
Chloë Grace Moretz?
No. She was just nominated for an Oscar. Hold on.
Oh, the little girl.
Nope.
Wait, what?
Glenn Close. Glenn Close was that pirate that they put in the boo box.
Shut the fuck up.
No.
Why was Glenn Close playing a pirate extra in Hook?
Yeah, it's great. Watch
Are
it.
you sure?
Yeah, watch it. Here, let me pull it up.
Say it.
I did.
Yes, you may.
David is gobsmacked right now.
The boo box.
No,
The boo box. Yeah.
Still kills me. The boo box. But why, though? This is the most interesting taglines, somehow morphed into the most interesting taglines ever. We found, like, 1 degree of separation between Greta
And Glenn Close.
and Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Why was that pirate Glenn Close?
I know, it's great, isn't it?
I have to know more about that. Okay, next tagline.
Next tagline. Greta, when the French don't surrender.
All right. Greta, bobetta, banana, fana, fofetta, me, my, mometta, Greta.
So we're getting to the real good stuff now. Greta, anti-kick-ass.
Greta, never... Let me do that over. Greta, never come between a Hungarian and her purse.
Okay, my last one. Greta, pretty little liars.
Greta, this would have been way scarier if it was named Greg.
Yeah.
If that had been a dude and the threat of rape was there, man, I'm sold immediately on this movie.
Right. All right.
The French.
Okay, so now let's talk about some horror movie news. Oh, where is it?
This just in.
So, some new trailers. There's a new Pet Sematary trailer that we saw in Greta. Much longer and goes more in depth and probably gives too much away. But, I mean, it's Pet Sematary. You've probably already seen it.
You already know.
Or read it. We'll put a link or embed the video on this post on our website, horrormovietalk.com. Also, there's a new Red Band trailer for Hellboy. And they are saying that they're going after a hard R.
They got it.
Hard R. I don't know. I mean, they're going after an R.
I think I read that they already got it.
Yeah, so in the Red Band trailer, it does show some decent gore, like cutting off limbs and lots of blood and stuff. So, and he says, fuck.
I don't like the way this movie is going. I don't like that both... I mean, the first Hellboy movie was fine. It for what it was as itself, but I think I would have liked, as a big Hellboy fan, the comic books, I would have liked to see an animated Hellboy, because really the only way to capture the look and feel and tone of Hellboy is in lots of dark black, just flat black paneling and stuff like that, and you're not gonna do Hellboy justice with a real person ever, in my opinion.
Also, as of the release of this episode, we haven't seen it yet because it hasn't come out, but Midsommar, the new movie by Hereditary director Ari Aster, will be out as of the release of this episode, so we'll include it in the episode's post. I'm really excited to see that trailer.
Is that movie supposed to be somehow related to Hereditary?
I don't think so. I think it's just his next movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks very, Wicker Man-ish. Just
Okay.
very surrounding pagan rituals that get out of hand kind of thing. But it looks great. They've released some artwork and a poster for it, and it looks fun. In other horror movie news, Saban Films acquires Tone Deaf, which stars Robert Patrick as an old-fashioned widower who's struggling to hide his psychopathic tendencies. And it's the story is a millennial rents his country house, and the two generations collide in a home invasion horror film that critiques today's cultural and political climate. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does sound kind of interesting.
T-1000 is an old racist man.
Home invasion horror is one of my very favorite subsections of horror because it's so plausible.
Right.
And the thought of some guy or group of people pushing their way into your house, that's the ultimate. I mean, I get upset now when somebody rings the doorbell.
Yeah. Not a good time to be a Mormon missionary. What are you doing?
Why have you invaded my privacy?
Man, if Mormon missionaries just started selling cookies, I wonder how much more popular they'd be.
Giving out cookies.
No, selling them like Girl Scouts. They probably...
but if you want your foot in the door, you offer the cookie.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. Jordan Peele's Us is predicted to have a 35 million plus opening weekend.
35 million, estimate. Is that good?
I think that's pretty good. We were just talking about how great that trailer is. I got 5 on it, using that song as like a menacing...
Going all minor key with it.
It's great.
I got 5 on it.
It Chapter 2 may literally be one of the bloodiest movies ever made. Jessica Chastain on The Tonight Show said... maybe I can just find this clip. Just a minute. We got time.
Oh, I'm going to say something, and I think I'm going to be in trouble, but I'm going to do it.
You are?
Oh, really? It might be a spoiler. But in the movie, there's a scene that someone said on set that it's the most blood that's ever been in a horror film. See, in a scene. And I'll tell you, the next day I was like pulling blood out of my eyeballs. Like fake blood.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Just acting. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotta love Jimmy.
She's so pretty that I'm irritated. Damn it. Stupid pretty person.
So, yeah, so much blood. I mean, that's a pretty high bar to set. I mean, if you think about The Shining, an entire elevator full of blood, and it's going to be more than that.
Friday the 13th, the bed.
Right.
It just exhausting all that blood.
I don't think it'll actually be the most blood in a horror movie. There's got to be like a movie with just pools of blood or like an ocean of blood or something.
Dead
like
alive.
Yeah. Maybe actual practical blood. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
But it's fake blood.
Yeah.
What?
I'm talking about like there's probably a movie with CGI blood that's like literally
the most.
An ocean.
Oh, yeah.
Or a world.
Actually, that's a really good metal song by Metalocalypse called Blood Ocean.
Paramount just bumped Are You Afraid of the Dark, the movie, off their 2019 release schedule. So that's never a great sign.
Wow.
Or they might be delaying it to coincide with the TV show coming back on, or maybe letting the TV show get some... I don't know. Who knows? Also in horror movie news, a documentary by director Penny Lane called Hail Satan dispels myths about the Satanic Temple.
Let's be clear. It's titled Hail Satan with a question mark.
Yeah. And so that I watched that trailer and it looked pretty interesting. I'll put a link to it on the post for this. But it basically goes into depth of what the origins of the Satanic Temple is and how it's more of First Amendment type of thing than it is a religious thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a
master troll idea.
Movement mixed with like First Amendment stuff.
Yeah. It's like the original troll movement. It's like pre-internet. No, I guess when was it created? Was it post-internet or pre-internet?
There was a lot of uproar and hubbub in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s and 90s about like that was the the thing to be scared of was satanic cults.
Well, yeah, there was the satanic panic in the 80s, but I don't know if there was literally like a Church of Satan at that time, or if it was just like the scary, idea, folk legends of, actual people that worshipped the Christian Satan.
Right.
But this is more about the modern Satanist movement of fighting for free speech and separation of church and state.
Yeah, which are mostly alt-ish looking people.
Yeah.
Who are passionate about their libertarian-esque beliefs.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool trailer. I look forward to seeing it. All right, so that's horror movie news. Anything else to talk about? Greta.
Boo.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You guys let us know if you're interested in us covering new movies as much, or if you'd like us to cover more, older classics, that kind of thing. I'd be interested to know the answer to that question. So let us know. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, usually our newer movies get a lot more downloads, but recently not so.
Right.
Like Prodigy and what was the other one that was recent?
Well, they're unremarkable movies.
Yeah. I think some of them that get good downloads are the ones that people are on the fence about.
Yeah.
So that's why I was surprised that Prodigy wasn't higher.
No one cares. There's no stakes.
Like Overlord was a pretty popular episode.
Strangely popular.
And I could see that's like, I'm on the fence. Like, it could be like a blockbuster that I would want to see, but I'm not really enthused about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments or on social media whether you're interested in new release horror or if you want us to go delve into the classics. We still haven't done like Exorcist or any of the real old classics. And we still got Dead Night in the wings. I mean, that might be our secret winner. All right, well, thanks for listening to the show. We really appreciate anyone that takes time to listen to the show and to share it because, we take time to make it, and it's a little passion project of ours.
Yeah.
We hope you like it. Let us know what we're doing good, what we're doing bad. We're very open to change and modifying whatever. We got a comment on Twitter, or no, it was YouTube. Of someone said, these guys are shit. What did he say? He was like, it was like a basic fact that we got wrong.
Yeah, so this was on The Nun, on our episode about The Nun,
right,
which was like episode 5 for us.
Yeah.
And he mentioned, they got a basic part of the movie wrong, and yeah, we did.
Yeah, Tessa Farmiga and whatever was. We thought it might have been a mother-daughter relationship between the two actresses, but they're actually sisters.
Right.
And he was like, you couldn't just check that? Which is a fair point.
It's a fair point.
We should just look that up on IMDb. But, I mean, to our credit, we don't want to be one of those podcasts that literally just reads IMDb to you.
There's enough of those.
Yeah. Just open up the trivia section of IMDb and read it back.
And to be fair to us, we did, in the very next episode, we corrected ourselves.
Yeah.
So
we had an errata in the next episode.
Yeah, we apologized.
So, fuck that guy. But if you want to tell us what we did wrong, we won't be that, we appreciate it. Yeah, please share the show, too, if you like it, or if you just know someone that likes movies, or especially horror movies, let them check us out, and let them make the decision whether they like it or not.
I didn't even know about Tessa Farmiga and Viraga.
Once again, Shudder is a sponsor of sorts, so if you want to check them out, go to shudder.com, shudder.com, and enter in code HMT at checkout to get a 30-day free trial. Again, if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go to our website at horrormovietalk.com and click through on the button up there, and we'll get a little taste. Thanks again. Have a good week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye. I love you.
Bye.